Hey everybody, Fletch from All Things Overlanding here. On today's episode of 3 Minute Thursday, I'm going to be talking about a product that saves dumb men like myself from, I won't say catastrophe, but definitely serious annoyance on camping trips. So if you want to learn more about that, just stay tuned. Everybody, so on today's 3 Minute Thursday, we're going to be talking about this, the UCO Ware Mess Kit. Cool, shiny intro of the UCO Ware here. All right, so now that you've kind of seen, kind of around the product, a little bit of an overview of it, if you will, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. So the reason that I am talking about this today is so I am a typical man, right? Where I try to be good about packing and I get all my stuff in my truck and I go out on my trip and I've got some great food with me like steak and mashed potatoes and maybe some green beans or something like that. And I get out to the campsite, I start to cook, I get everything done, and then I realize I only brought my pots and pans and maybe some silverware or like a spork with me. And I don't have anywhere to put it. So I have like 2 pots, one with mashed potatoes and like a griddle with like a steak on it or, like just all this stuff. And my wife always laughs because she's like, why don't you just take a paper plate or something with you that you can use to hold all the food after you cook it? And again, I don't want to just disparage men everywhere, but being a man that is very forgetful and that, calls straws sissy sticks still, like, it's definitely a thing that I just don't think about. Like, I do not think about it until I'm out there, and then every time I'm like, man, I should have brought something to use to put my food into. That is where the UCO Ware Mess Kit comes in. I was watching a video and I saw this thing and I'm like, man, that is really nice looking. One, it's got, these nice topographical lines on top of it. It's just a really sharp looking mess kit. 2, it's not tiny, so if you were a backpacker, this may be a bit much for you, but I'm not a backpacker. I get to take as much stuff as I can fit in my truck. And I have a drawer system. So this fits perfectly in the middle of my drawer system underneath where I put my sink, usually my folding plastic sink. So this was actually a really good fit for me, but there are a number of things that I like about this, and to keep this video short so that it doesn't take up too much of your time, I'm gonna run through those really quick and just kind of tell you why I love this mess kit. So thing number 1, versus paper plates and things like that, we're all trying to leave no trace. We're all trying to be a little bit more responsible. We all know what's going on in Australia right now. Obviously, we want to be as smart as we possibly can and not be wasteful. This is rewashable, it's reusable. I don't have to throw anything away or burn anything in a fire. I can just take it, cook my food in it, rinse it out with some water and soap, and I'm done. I'm good. 2, there's a cost thing, right? I mean, this is about 10, 12 bucks, somewhere in that ballpark on Amazon. I'll put a link down below to it if you're looking for something like this. But it's one-time purchase, right? Like, it's dishwasher safe. It's made of a thick, good quality plastic. It's really sharp looking. It's just a nice kit, and it has pretty much everything you need. So I'm just gonna say this tether is what they call it. This rubber tether did not come like this. It came a different way, and it was so complex and beautiful that I loved it. But as soon as I took it off once, I could not replicate the way they had it. Also, it used the plastic fork spoon that came with it as part of that tether to hold this all together, and I just didn't like the idea of it being on the outside. If I drive down a dusty trail, it's going to get dirt and stuff all over the outside, all over the spork. So what I did was I actually just changed it up a little bit, put the little retaining circle, if you will, there, and then I run it underneath and I just run it around this lip over here. So when we open it up here, I'm going to show you. So it basically comes with 2 pieces, which there's some cool things about this. So this is the spoon fork. It's not a spork, it's a spoon fork. It does have a quote-unquote knife here on the edge. I don't think you could cut a piece of paper with that. It's not very sharp, but it's there. So, if you wanted to pretend like you could cut something, you do have it. But here's the thing. We're all camping, overlanding. Most likely you're going to have some sort of a pocket knife. Not a huge deal. But still, I like it. It has a good, nice length to it. It's easy on the hands. It's a nice little size to use. It's way better than my little tiny CRKT spork that I actually really like and use quite a bit. But so this feels like I'm eating with real silverware. Again, good design, looks nice, cool. I also throw, and I've talked about this thing before, and I'll put a link to it down below, but just because there's so much room in this, I actually throw my dishwashing brush in here too. So I've got everything I need in there. I eat, I get done, I wash out my dishes, and then I can seal it up. Now here's one of my favorite things about this. So first of all, you get two pieces, right? So it can seal up, keep all your stuff clean and safe inside of it. But then you kind of have a bowl in the tan side here, and then a little bit more shallow plate over here on this side. One of the really cool things about this set though is it does have like a rubber seal that runs all the way around the edge. And when you close it, it squeezes together and it actually will seal up pretty much airtight. The reason that I mention this is, how many times have we brought food, and when you're bringing food, you just go to the grocery store and you buy stuff a lot of the times, at least I do. I'll buy like a huge steak and my eyes will be bigger than my stomach and I'll think, you know what, I'm gonna eat that whole thing. And then I get to camp and I cook it and I make a whole entire thing of mashed potatoes and I get halfway through it and I'm like, man, that's a lot of food. I can't eat all that. The cool thing is, if you have a fridge freezer or a cooler, you could keep your food in here, seal it up, and just drop it in there and keep it cool, and then use it for steak and eggs the next morning, or use it for leftovers if you want to heat it back up. So I really love that idea. I think it's just cool that it has so many features. So again, you can have a bowl, you can have a plate. It comes with a spoon and a fork. You can hold a lot of food in it. I mean, it's got a ton of space there. So, I mean, I could put a whole thing of mashed potatoes in here and a whole steak in this and have plenty of room to cut my steak and eat my mashed potatoes. You get my drift. But then lastly, the fact that you can seal it up is just super cool too. I think that that's a nice feature to be able to keep food in it and store it overnight and it won't get wet in your cooler. So anyways, I just wanted to touch on that because this is one of my favorite pieces of gear that I've got. I highly recommend it. If you're looking for a mess kit, I just think this thing's great. I'm pretty sure they sell them at like Walmart and Target and local places too. But again, I will put a link down below to Amazon if you just want to get it on there so you don't have to go anywhere. It's kind of nice. But yeah, I love this thing. Highly recommend it. So hope that was helpful. Hope that tells you guys a little bit more about the UCO Ware Mess Kit. And if you have any questions or comments, if you use the same thing, please post up in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. I put out a gear review every single week and a podcast/vlog every week as well. So if you're into overlanding, if you're into camping, if you're into off-roading, if you like gear or modifying vehicles, this is the channel for you. Please click the subscribe button, click the bell button to be notified when a new video comes out, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Take care.